at College Depot, and that's Miss Megan Meyerson. She works with us too. She's a library assistant. Is that correct, Megan?
Exactly, exactly. Library assistant.
All right, cool. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the GRID program and also about the services that we provide, which is an abundance of um, of programs that we offer. So let me go to, we're going to go to slide 2. And this is the Burn Bar Library. Who's never been there before? It's located on Central, just south of McDowell. Of course, it's closed now. We're on the 2nd floor on the south side of the building. So as you can see there, this is a few things that we do. We do college, we help them with college application, not just in-state, it could be out of state, it could be community colleges. We also help them do their financial aid as well. Creating their FSCID for the student, for the parent, also scholarship searching. We have a plethora of scholarships on our page. Towards the end of the presentation, you're going to have our website, but I'll give you our website too. phoenixpubliclibrary.org/College Depot. And there's for parents or returning students. There's even scholarships for kindergartens and above. So it's pretty amazing. Creating the college plan for example, a non-traditional student, a college student, high school student, to help them prepare for their next steps, which could be in a few years or longer. And all our services are free, okay? So once the library is open, we're open 6 days out of the week. We're closed only on Sundays and major holidays, okay? Also, we help students get their high school diplomas, career online high school. We also help them get apprenticeship programs where they could be learning a trade, plus they're getting paid at the same time with benefits. So there's a lot of stuff going on at College Depot. But what we really want to talk about is the GRID program. This is something new. This is our first time we've ever done this. GRID stands for Graduating, Ready, Independent, and Tenacious. As you can see, there's yours truly, that's me. In the orange, these other two young ladies, Paulina and Cristal, they're college students and they work for us, which means they're going to be advising students as well through the GRID program. So it's mostly first generation college-bound high school seniors. They're assigned specific advisors that provide virtual support. It's almost like a one-on-one, but in a virtual world because everything that's what's going on now. And of course, we're going to create a plan of action for those seniors. And we'll assist them in searching for scholarships. Give them ideas on writing those essays. You know, just encouraging them, just advising them throughout the whole school year. Okay. So the next slide we'll talk about why grit. Because we had found out that without having some kind of advising for students, it's a lot of steps and they can get lost in these steps. There's a number of steps in the college process. So as you can see on that picture, that's one of our computer labs, our bigger computer labs. I believe that's where it's a workshop on helping students locate scholarships. So we actually show them where they can go to search for these scholarship opportunities on our website. As you can read there, once they get the support, there'll be higher completion rates of going to college because they had someone there by their side at all times. Okay. Then the next one is how do we help? How will we help them? Understanding, navigating, again, the college process, starting from college applications, financial aid, how to fill out the FAFSA, which starts October 1st and beyond. let them know about their financial aid package. What does that entail? Well, we'll help them with that. Scholarship application review, looking over their essays, selecting a school. That's another big thing. Do they want to go school in the Southwest, or they want to stay here in state? Do they have their major, student centers, school to-do lists, orientation, and anything else? So those to-do items are very important, because if those are not done in a timely manner, that financial aid money will be on hold until those things are completed. For example, they want transcripts, they want immunizations, sometimes they want copy of parents' taxes. So those type of things, depending on the school. So again, we help students conquer and work on these items, to-do items. Okay. So the next one is what we need from you. Of course, the more support, the better. That's our team. As you can see on the picture there. Some people have left, and we've gained new employees. So participation and support. So just active engaging with advisors. We're going to email them or phone them or go on Teams. So we still have to meet with them, but once we meet with them, then we'll come up with some kind of schedule where we might meet with them weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Just depends what they're comfortable with. So this must complete admissions and financial aid steps that lead to college enrollment. So we're going to be there as a cheerleader as well. If you guys could also help us with that as well, that would be, fantastic. I think it's a team effort from all of us. Okay. And the next slide, this is our team. Diana, Chris, myself, Victor, Abby, Bianca. Bianca's a college student. She's going to ASU. And then, of course, Megan, that's co-presenting with me. She is, part of our advisors. There's going to be more advisors as well. Like I said, Paulina and Cristal and some other, we'll have other advisors helping us as well. Okay. So now we're almost to the end. So this is the process. So assign advisor to contact students, email, by phone, set up initial appointments, week of September 21st. Like that, we discuss about goals, what has been done already, create a senior plan just for that specific student, stay in contact with them by phone, email. We could also do follow appointments. I believe I have 9 students, or I believe I already have five of them signed up, where we could meet between 30 and 45 minutes to discuss their goals and create a college plan, and when we can meet by phone, or I could just send them an email to see how they're doing on their college steps. Okay, so that's pretty much the grid process. And we are going to go on slide number 9, and this is coming very soon. We're going to have FAFSA labs, which means we're going to help people complete their financial aid applications. As you can see there, it'll be every Saturday in October, the 3rd, the 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st. Okay, so that's coming soon. And then we also have financial aid experts and counselors to help you guys complete the FAFSA, virtually. Phoenix Union has their own every day in October from 3 to 5 p.m. That's for people in Phoenix Union. High school districts, but if not, we can help any student in Saturdays, every Saturday in October. So those are the dates and times. Okay, so we're going to go to, this is, if you have any questions, that's where we're located. Of course, we're closed as of right now. But that telephone number is still active. So that's the number you could call to schedule an appointment. Or you have any questions about anything. And that's our website. And the second one is where you could leave a message. So
okay, Robert,
yes.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Tiffany is asking, in terms of the timeline, what are the steps in the process with consideration that colleges select incoming freshmen, and meaning when should we start completing college enrollments, first the FAFSA, et cetera. So what is the process for timelines for seniors?
Usually you could start already applying to the colleges of their choice. They should all be open by now. Some have been open for a number of months already. So that's kind of the first step. The first step to see what colleges he or she is interested in. So it could be 1, 2, 3, or 10. You could put up to 10 on the FAFSA application form. So it could be in-state, out-of-state, community colleges. But yeah, the first step is to applying to these colleges, and they're probably gonna say, well, they haven't got all their grades yet. But there's a section there where they could put in their grades or the classes, and they can see it's in process. So of course the colleges are eventually going to get their transcripts once school is done. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
I just put in the chat, Robert,
Yes.
to the rest of the parents to
Yes.
please type in this chat if they have any questions.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and we're here to answer each one of your questions if you like.
Okay, Tiffany's also asking a follow-up question. She's
Yes.
asking about the college enrollment process if it requires an essay, and she's wondering if staff work with students on their essays.
Okay, yes, the in-state ones, they don't require any essays. I believe the Barrett's Honors Colleges does, and that's a separate application, but most in-state, they don't require an essay. And sometimes they're optional. That's just to see if you wanna, they could know more about yourself. But no, it's optional. And what was the second part?
Oh, yeah, so Robert, the second part is for, if, let's say Tiffany's son or daughter is interested in going out of state. She's wondering if our staff work on the essays with our students.
Yes, I believe because they're in the GRID program, I believe we can, the advisors can either help them or we have people on our staff that can review them. I believe Diana, is it
and
you?
Meryl.
Is it Meryl? And
yeah.
And you, Megan, right?
Not me, just Diana and Meryl right now.
See, Diana and Meryl, those are the two that can help. Also, the GRID advisor can also help you too. So there's a number of different people that can help them with their college essays.
Thank you, Robert. So Lisa is asking, what if you have a student in college already? Do you do a separate application? So Lisa's sending a follow-up question just to see, she's wanting any tips or shortcuts for students that are already in college. Do they have to do separate applications? I'm gonna write to Lisa if she means for the following year.
No, if they're already in college, they don't have to reapply anymore. I think that's what her question is. Let me see.
I think that she's writing again, and then we have another person writing a question too, Anna Maria.
Okay.
So as soon as they write their questions, oh, Anna Maria is saying, thank you for the info.
Let me, can I jump in a little bit? Just to kind of answer some of the questions about GRIT?
Sure.
So just coming back, like the process going forward, like in terms of the timeline, answering Tiffany's question, the steps in the process. So right now, so this is the launch week basically. So we have all of our orientations for students and then also for you, the parents. Just to kind of get you all like set up, like what's going on. And then, yeah, so your student should hear from from their assigned advisor this week. It's gonna go first to email and then there'll be some phone calls. So if your student can, just make sure your student's following up on their emails and then they'll also get a phone call. I know we had one student that was hanging up on the advisor because they thought she was a telemarketer. So no, we are not telemarketing. So just like let your student know if they haven't heard that we'll be reaching out, and then they're here basically to help with everything going forward, every single step along the way. So some students are more independent than others. Our goal is to be consistent and continual and confident, I guess, point of contact for your student. So whether they need help with every single step, like that's fine, or whether they kind of have it, but they need a little bit of guidance here and there, and maybe some help with certain steps, they're there for you. And whether that's essays, finding scholarships, college applications, like all of that. So we're very aware of the timelines, especially for the in-state schools. So we actually will have benchmarks every month that we want to make sure that the students are reaching in order to make sure that they're staying on track with their individualized senior plan. So obviously FAFSA is coming up in October. So we want all of our students to have their FAFSAs successfully processed by the end of October. And then we really want the students applying for their schools around the same time, but then, November, that's, I think NAU's deadline is November 15th. So November is really focusing on getting applications submitted and everything that's necessary. So really, and then December is kind of following up. They should have their student centers, all of that by as they're getting accepted to the schools, December, January. And then January is really focusing. Now the students should start getting accepted to schools. They should start January, February, I should say, receiving their financial aid packages, like their award letters, notifications, and then our advisors are there to make sense of all that madness and what they have, and then identify if there's any gaps in funding, how to fill those gaps. And then going forward, and this of course is very general, but just to kind of give you, to answer your question about the timeline. So January, February, March, like that's when the real, work is being done. Like steps are actually finalizing steps. Students are deciding which school they're going to go to. Submitting like a lot of scholarships. You could start applying now, but really, January, February, March, like that's when the bulk of scholarships are, have deadlines. So filling those out, submitting those, and then March, April, May, that's like, so that's getting your housing set up, acting on your awards, submitting final documents, that type of thing. And then the summer is still important. The summer is, you still have a lot going on in the summer where it's like finalizing everything. So one thing, so this program does help the students, if they wish, all the way through August of next year. And that's just because a lot of students may think that they're done, once they graduate high school, but there's still some final things like selecting their classes, signing up for orientations. Like there's a lot of different things that need to be done over the summer. And so summer grit kind of goes into that.
Cool.
So, so I didn't mean to go off and start preaching and all that.
That's all right.
We have a few more questions in the queue.
Yes, I see them.
Stephanie is asking about letters of recommendation. Just wondering more about that, if they need to come from teachers or counselors or both. If you could speak to that, Robert, that'd be great.
Yes, that's a very good question. Yes. Sometimes they're very specific in who they want them for, but yes, usually from a teacher, a counselor, could be from a mentor, as long as there's nobody related to the student.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So yes, they would get their letter of recommendation and ask them, like a few months before. Another thing about the timeline, actually, we have a 12th grade timeline on our website. So phoenixpubliclibrary.org/College Depot, there's, I believe, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade timelines. So for families that have younger siblings, that's a good guide to have.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Robert. And then I'm just going down the line. Lisa's saying that she has a senior going to, she's a senior in school and a student at U of A. So she's just wondering more about general college planning. I'm sure she'll get some answers with the GRIT program.
Yes, correct. The GRIT, of course. If she's already a student, then she's going to do the October 1st. So she could do the FAFSA application for the next school year.
And Stephanie is definitely different. Stephanie is asking when FAFSA needs to be completed, when the FAFSA starts for the fall of the 2021, when you need to submit it by. But I think that obviously depends on schools, right?
Yeah, correct. But yeah, of course, if you could do it the earlier, the better. October 1st is the earliest you could do it, but it doesn't have to be October 1st. It could be the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, as long as it gets done in a timely fashion.
And Stephanie and Tiffany are both asking about this presentation, Robert, if we can write a process up with what we shared in this presentation, and or if we can share the presentation. I think that would be more of a Chris question myself.
Yes,
right?
correct. Yes, correct. Yeah, we could ask Chris and see if we could send it to who's ever interested in the presentation.
Okay, Chris just wrote that we're recording all the sessions and sending the emails to view. So Tiffany's question is about the timeline. She's wondering more about, in terms of not the presentation, but more about timeline for enrolling in colleges, writing essays, the FAFSA. So Tiffany, as Robert mentioned, there's a 12-way timeline on our website that talks about all of that stuff in detail of when your student needs to complete each step. And then Robert, the last one is that Zanetta is saying that Chris, my daughters were going to both orientations, believe she's been utilized in College Depot since her freshman year. Just wanted to make sure that she's not missing anything specific.
And she was in the GRID program, as far as you know?
Yes, exactly.
No, yes, I she was in the perfect program. The advisor will help her cover all those loose ends.
Yes. So we're just getting another question in the queue. I'll let you know as soon as we get it.
Okay.
And Chris posted the timeline, Robert, into the chat box for
Nice.
the parents, so they'll get the 12th grade timeline.
Nice, very nice, very nice. Thank you, Maggie. See?
Yeah.
You're valuable, Miss Vega.
Oh, yeah, I do what I can do, you know?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's no way that you can present and look at the chat at the same
I
time.
know, yeah, that is true, yes.
So we're just waiting for the next message from one of the parents. Oh, they didn't send a message. So the last one is that from, oh, they are sending a message. Hold on one second.
That's fine.
Okay, in the meantime, can I jump in and just kind of explain how we arrived at grit?
Sure.
Yes.
So can you go back to the why grit slide?
Yeah.
I think it's right before this one, maybe a couple more.
Yes.
Right here. Okay. So you can see, so grit is a concept in education. Basically, it's the idea that, like, no matter what, you're going to keep putting one foot in front of the other, even if you take a couple steps back, like you're constantly moving forward. So it's basically, it's not saying that the most educated, the most qualified, the most exceptional, the most talented, all of that. It's not saying that like all of those factors are important, you know, when you're talking about post-secondary success, right? Being successful in college, but really the number one underlying factor for student success in high school, junior, like across this, you know, from kindergarten all the way through the end of college is grit. And that's the idea of the student sets out a goal. They say, like, I want to go to college, right? Even if their parents never went to college, there are no siblings, nobody in their community, they don't know anybody, they know they want to go to college. If they have that determination, as well as the guidance, then they're going to be successful. And that's really why we called this grit. You can see there's a quote from College and Career Ready research article, and that's there. This is something that we've put together for over a year. We put extensive amount of research and development into this program. And we felt that it was something we were going to, like, pilot to a smaller group of students this year and then really launch next school year. But with everything going on, you know, schools are closed or opened, or they're open and then they're closed. You know, there's, you know, Boys and Girls Club, these other services that students rely on to get assistance going for multiple things in addition to college. Like, all these things are, you know, there's just all this uncertainty. So we just felt we have to put out a quality program where we're able to connect all of these students to advisors in a virtual world to make sure that they have the support that they need throughout the entire school year. And then also, so we're just building, coming back to the letters, graduating, the GRIT stands for graduating ready, independent, and tenacious. And so that's all, like, we have research articles, which I won't get into, but it's basically, yeah, there you go. So we want the students obviously graduating, we want them ready, right? So not only are they planning on going into college, but they're going into adulthood, right? They're young adults now and they're about to turn 18. They're about to be responsible. They can vote, they can do all these different things. So we want them, as much as it pertains, you know, relates to our role as a college access program, we want them, you know, to make sure that they're ready, independent. So not just helping the students by them, you know, with all these different things, but helping the students to learn how to advocate for themselves, how to, you know, learn what financial aid department is, or admissions, learn these different things so that they're able to, you know, kind of grow in their independence in terms of being able to, even if they don't know how to do something, they'll know where to go so that they're not always dependent on somebody to, you know, hold their hand through it, but they're able to, you know, as they're becoming adults, take those things on. And then, you know, the idea of tenacity, right? Being tenacious. And so they just never stop, they never quit, even when there's the entire West Coast is on fire, or the East Coast is being hit by millions of hurricanes. There's all these different, like the students, like, I'm going to be successful, and we're here to help every step of the way. So that's the nature behind Grid.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, so we have another question in the queue for you guys. Lisa is saying that she always hears about Hispanic scholarships, but she only sees 1 or 2 on our website. She's wondering if there's more.
Yeah, there is more. There's, well, a scholarship, Hispanic Scholarship Fund, and also she can create a scholarship profile for daughter or son, and then like that she'll be matched up with other scholarship opportunities. There's Horatio Algiers, I believe. That's a local scholarship. There's quite a bit of them on there. On that site, there's also a scholarship guide through Glendale Union High School District. That's pretty, I use that a lot, and that's pretty helpful as well. And that's on our website as well. Maybe you could tag it. Megan or Chris could tag it.
Okay, let me see if I can do this. My technology is not the most advanced, but I will try.
Yeah, okay.
And while she works on that, I will say that actually our list at the moment is somewhat limited. So we actually pull from a database that we've collected over the years of over 800 scholarships. Yes. However, we aren't able to, they're not going to be on our website until we have the deadlines for those scholarships. So the scholarship, like Robert mentioned, the Horacio Alger scholarship, their deadline is usually later in the school year. So like, I think it's like March. So they still on their website, they haven't updated the application deadline for the current school year because they just wrapped up one. So that's just, so as the going into, like we're in constant communication with the scholarships, again, coming back to the theme of uncertainty, some schools or scholarship providers are taking a little bit longer in terms of updating their deadlines. But I imagine that going into October, that's when financial aid season kicks off, and that's when these scholarships providers will start updating their deadlines, which will be reflected on our scholarship website. But I do promise going forward, we have a highly robust list of scholarships that are specific to students in Arizona. 3 different high school districts here in the Valley just kind of abandoned their own scholarship list, and they just send their students to ours. And so I'm very proud of that, but I don't say that to be proudful, just to kind of demonstrate that that we do take pride in our scholarship list. And so much apologies that right now I think there's like 6 scholarships that are specific to Latino students, but we do anticipate that to increase going into October.
And I know there's one that CPLC has one as well. So yeah, there's a variety of them out there.
I am doing this research, Robert, for your Glendale Union one. I don't see it on our website. I'm just typing Glendale Union Hispanic Scholarship Fund.
Yes.
And let me see if I can find it. Let's see. So this is from 2014 to 2015. It's a little outdated.
Yeah, no, that's too old.
That's too old. Yeah. So fortunately we have all the parents' emails. So I will Robert, I will do more research with your guidance, if you don't mind. And I can send out an email to all the parents, not to worry.
That's great.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Any other questions?
Oh, Lisa's sending another message. Hold on one second. Okay, but thank you.
Okay, cool. You're welcome, Lisa. Thank you. Thanks to everybody.
Okay, so and no future questions, Robert, Chris. What do we think? Should we hold on for a few minutes, or Lisa's raised her hand too.
Yeah,
she put a message in the chat.
And Lisa, if you want to unmute yourself and ask your question or make your comment, like you can certainly do that. Okay, can I share a link? And then Robert, can you open it and then share it on your screen? It's a YouTube video that it's like the heart and soul of not the heart and soul, but it's like it's a summary of kind of like grit and how, grit applies in the
Okay, so how do I do this, Chris? So
let me send it to you right now.
okay, cool.
So if you click on the link and then you'll stop sharing your screen and then reshare it, but
Okay.
make sure that you click when you hit the share, there's to the left, you'll see an option to share computer audio. So that way we can hear.
Let's see. Hold on. So I go to my email or through Teams?
I sent it in the chat. Yeah, in Teams.
Teams. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So, so I click on that. Okay, cool. I have
And then,
that.
yeah,
Well,
so
it's coming up, YouTube,
yeah.
like 4 minutes. So how do I share my screen now? Start sharing?
So yes, yeah, stop share and then reshare. And then make sure you click the option to share computer audio so we can hear the video.
Let's see, includes, okay, click on that. Okay, so then I share it. And then there, can you guys see it?
Not yet. I can't see it. Oh,
Can
no,
you
I
see
can.
it?
Uh-huh.
Studies involving national spelling bee
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
champions, elite military training graduates, and top corporate salespeople to determine what was the biggest predictor of their success. She wondered, was it talent or was it effort? Now, our society would have us believe that it would be talent. We have the tendency to marvel at natural talent and overlook the importance of effort. Surveys show that we commend people who put in the effort, but we don't actually believe it can compete with natural talent. We often discount our own abilities when going up against people who have a higher IQ or appear more naturally gifted. But Angela has found the following to be true in study after study. Where talent counts once, effort counts twice. Angela explains this using a simple formula. Talent times effort equals skill, and skill times effort equals achievement. When you apply effort to any base level talent, you get skill. When you apply effort to skill, you get achievement. The science shows that grit, the sustained application of effort towards a long-term goal, is the biggest predictor of lifelong achievement. For some, it's an inconvenient truth. Certain people like to see natural talent and use it as an excuse as to why they would never achieve what those people can, and don't even bother trying in the first place. But for others, it can be liberating, knowing that they're not doomed to mediocrity due to a lack of talent. If they put in the effort, they can achieve great things. Sure, there are some limitations. All of us can't make the NBA. We're not all 6'9". But you could become one of the best players in your local basketball league. By remembering that talent counts once, effort counts twice, we can be hopeful that we can one day become more than we think we can, that we can achieve great things despite not winning the talent lottery. But being gritty is hard. Resisting endless temptations to quit or experiencing failure is extremely difficult to deal with. But Angela says we all have the ability to grow our grit if we direct our focus in 4 specific ways. First, develop a fascination with what you're trying to do. Second, strive to improve each day. Third, remind yourself of the greater purpose. And fourth, adopt a growth mindset. Charles Darwin admitted to not having great quickness of apprehension. To discover the mysteries of natural science without possessing supernatural intelligence, Darwin developed an obsessive fascination and was said to keep questions alive in the back of his mind, questions that related to what he was observing, that drove him to discover the connection between all living things. His deep interest in the natural sciences and constant questioning led him to the breakthrough that we now know as the theory of evolution. So what questions are most intriguing to you? Find the questions that fascinate you, and you'll find the capacity to stay gritty while trying to achieve something great. Next, aim to improve yourself every single day. Compete with who you were yesterday. Olympic gold medal swimmer Rowdy Gaines, once said, at every practice, I would try to beat myself. If my coach gave me 10 100-meter swims one day and asked me to hold it to 1 minute and 15 seconds, the next day, he would give me 10 100-meter swims, and I would try to hold it to 1 minute and 14 seconds. Angela says that the refrain of all paragons of grit is that whatever it takes, I want to improve. It doesn't matter how excellent they already are. So how can you carve out time each day to push your abilities and seek constant and never-ending improvement? The third way to grow our grit is to remind ourselves of the greater purpose. Angela conducted a survey of 16,000 adult Americans to determine what was a bigger contributor of grit, obtaining a feeling of pleasure or feeling a greater sense of purpose. She found that people on the upper half of her grit scale experienced a similar level of pleasure in what they were doing, but she found that higher levels of purpose directly correlated to higher levels of grit. Angela says, the most gritty people see their ultimate aims as deeply connected to the world beyond themselves. You could be a bricklayer simply laying the bricks for a cathedral, or you could be a bricklayer building the house of God. It's largely up to you to determine what purpose or greater meaning your work has. Whatever you come up with has the capacity to raise your level of grit. The last way to grow your grit is to develop a growth mindset. Bill McNabb, the past CEO of Vanguard, the world's largest provider of mutual funds, interviewed leaders within the organization to see who were successful and who weren't. He found that long-term success was dependent on a core belief. Those who believe that I can't learn anymore, I am what I am, this is how I do things, routinely fail to move up to a senior level. To be gritty, you need to scrap the theory that your abilities are fixed, because it's simply not true. Neuroscience has shown that we have an enormous capacity to change our brains and learn new skills as we get older. The brain is plastic, and you can mold it through sustained effort and experience. Reflect on a time when you started something new that you were scared you couldn't learn, but you actually did. Use the memory of that experience to disrupt any beliefs that your abilities are fixed. In the end, Angela says that learning to stick to something is a life skill that we can all develop. By remembering that the science shows that grit matters more than talent, and that we all have the capacity to grow our grit, we can develop the confidence to start taking action despite how untalented we think we are. That was the core message that I gathered from Angela's book. She has much more material to help you understand the science of achievement. I highly recommend it. If you would like a one-page PDF summary of the insights that I gathered from Angela's book, just click the link below and I'd be happy to email it to you. If you already subscribed to the free Productivity Game newsletter, this PDF is already in your inbox. Thank you for watching.
Cool. So now cool.
Cool. Thanks, Robert.
Hey, no problem. So
Yeah. So yeah, just thought that
That's
would
what it's
that's
like
kind of
wearing
like
regular shoes.
stop sharing.
Yeah, you can stop sharing.
Okay. Are we done here?
Although that is how long. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Unless there are other questions, just wanted to share that at the close. We included that video in the student orientation session, and it got a lot of good response and feedback from the students. But that's kind of the heart and soul of what we're doing, is just trying to help students channel their inner grit.
I think that's a good idea for parents too. I'm gonna include it for parents now.
Yes.
Yeah, so that way they'll know, and maybe a little bit more info about. Once we mentioned scholarships, there's all kinds of questions about that. I don't know if we could add something to that presentation or not. Just for parents, I guess, or students, depends.
Yeah, we can certainly discuss that. But just for the parents who are still on, we are like incredibly thankful for you for your participation today, for joining, and just for just the fact that you trust us with your students. There was a parent on earlier who actually worked with Megan. Mentioned that he worked with Megan over the summer with an older student who's in U of A right now, and now their younger student is coming through and have their student. He's participating in grit, so it really means the world to us that you guys trust us and let us guide your students, and we're here for you just as much as we are for the students. Core belief: the students are going to be that much more successful the more their parents are involved. And so we want to make sure that we do our due diligence to support you as you support your students. Also, We do have, so there is another student orientation. So there was one on Tuesday. If your student wasn't able to participate, there's another one this Saturday at 11:30. So they can join. And the student did receive an email. I believe the email also went out to the parents if we had the parent email with the link to join that session this Saturday at 11:30.
Cool. Great.
So yeah, thank you all. And
Yep,
Robert.
Thanks everybody. Yeah. Thanks, team.
Thank you so much. Thank you, parents. We look forward to supporting your students this year.
Yes. Likewise.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.